Hey, this is Jeff, and welcome back to the Coito Ergo Sum DLC crossover. Wanted to mention a couple of things on the way to find Caller 14. First, I killed that rad roach in the courtyard right around the corner from the fountain. I kept seeing a red blip on my compass and thinking it was a ghost person, so it had to go. And right around the corner from that, we have the door to the residential district where we'll find Caller 14.
Picking up signals near your location. Detonators. Watch for traps.
More importantly, now that we have the vending machine code for stim packs, I don't need to worry about food except when my hunger meter goes up. With medicine skill of 100, the ratio of health restored to the cost in chips is actually better for stim packs than any food item, plus I won't be taking any more rads. I found enough purified water last week to keep up with my dehydration meter so far, and I'm not even halfway to the first stage of radiation sickness, so even if we don't find any radaway, it might not matter. And focus. There we go. As we'll soon discover, the person who set all the traps around here is the person wearing Caller 14. Who also happens to be the dean who hid all the secret stashes we've been finding around the villa, and who also happens to be the one and only Dean Domino, the pre-war singer who you can see posters for in the casinos back in the Mojave. Where is that guy? There he is. Missed. Brilliant. Go dismember him quickly. And this looks like one of those places where the cloud is thick in the middle of the courtyard, but you might be able to sneak around the perimeter under the awning. But that doesn't look like it actually gets us anywhere. As I discovered last week, the cloud can be deceiving because the damage isn't actually caused by the visible cloud effect, but by an invisible trigger zone that applies damage when you're inside its boundaries. And it can encompass what looks like clear air if the mist effect doesn't extend all the way to the edge of the trigger zone. You might think, okay, if you see the cloud, just don't even get close to it, duh. Except it works both ways. Sometimes the mist effect actually extends past the boundary of the trigger zone, so some areas that are safe to walk look like they aren't. And sometimes those areas are the only way to progress without taking damage. Which isn't quite as much of a glitch as I made it sound, because the mist moves and swirls, and if you watch it for a while and see an area is clear 90% of the time, except when a little wisp blows through, it's more likely to be safe. Whereas if it's misty 90% of the time and only briefly clears for a few seconds now and then, it's probably not safe. If you want to avoid damage at all costs, keep a healthy distance from any area that looks misty, but like I say, sometimes you might not have a choice. And unfortunately, the shotgun traps in Dead Money don't give you a free shotgun if you disarm them, just the ammo. I mentioned last week that Courier Jeff has the light step perk, so I can't set off mines or traps. Otherwise, this area would be much more dangerous and I'd be going much slower. Anyway, I think the cloud area back there is sort of the Skyrim door, except instead of being one way, you can actually use it as a major shortcut to Dean if you know where you're going and you're willing to just run through it and tank the damage. Neither of those things is true for me, however, so we'll be going the long way. What's this a tripwire for? Grenade bouquet. Ooh, my explosive skill isn't high enough to disarm it. Well, so much for getting some free grenades. Anyway, Dean's companion perk is sort of like Christine's, except instead of giving you extra time to find and disable speakers and radios, he lets you survive brief exposure to the cloud with no damage. And even after you start taking damage, it's reduced. So if you ask him to join you, you can use the shortcut without risk. Which I might actually do, unlike Dog and Christine, who I just sent back to the fountain. In hardcore mode, they can die, and if they die, you die, and I thought they just teleported if you sent them back on their own, so that seemed safer. But it turns out they actually run the whole way, so it really isn't. I'm going to clear out as many ghost people as I can before I talk to Dean so we don't have to worry about them on the way out. Of course, just like Dog and Christine, once you complete the quest to find his collar, more spawn in, but at least we won't have to worry about the ones that were already here. But I'm not going out into the cloud to do it, so the ones that spawn in might have a little bit of backup. You get to live for now. I'm also disabling any traps and mines I see. You might think leaving them enabled would give you an edge if you can bait the ghost people into them, and that's true, but somewhat amusingly, Dean doesn't remember where all of his own traps are, and he can run into them and be injured or killed, so that seems like a bigger risk than the ghost people. Plus I get XP and goodies for doing it, but really it's about keeping Dean safe. Some more ghost people over here. The cloud's pretty close to that edge, but hopefully we can... Yeah. That's what I was talking about earlier, where it's kind of hard to tell exactly where the boundary of the area where you'll actually take the damage is. Free mine. Fire extinguisher. Out of its mounting bracket, that usually means... Yeah, it's there to inflict extra damage on top of the shotgun trap. And there's the pressure plate. Standing right on top of it. Apparently I have a really light step. And that... Yeah, that's another area where the boundary is iffy enough that I'm not going down there unless it's really necessary. Anyway, talking about Dean, the first time I played Dead Money, I was immediately inclined to like him. He's charming and sophisticated and a little bit snarky. He's a pre-war ghoul, and ghouls always have interesting stories, but the more of his story you uncover, the less likable he seems. Dog sees him with the same mixture of pity and contempt he has for everyone who gets sucked in by the lure of the Sierra Madre and goes crazy with greed, but in Dean's case, it turns out he's been that way since before the Great War. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Yeah, that looked clear a second ago, but now it doesn't. It's probably safe, but I'm gonna hold off unless I can't find a way that I know for sure is clear. I don't know, that seems less safe than the makeshift bridge. I guess we'll try it. Okay, now that way looks like it's completely covered. Guess we'll go back the way we came. Oh, no, that's the shotgun trap, so that is the way we came. It has to be safe. Despite the way the cloud swirls around, the boundaries of the safe zone don't actually change, so... Yeah, this whole balcony is safe. This is fine. I should remember my lesson from last week. When I find an alternate route on the second floor, it's okay to poke around a little, but I should go back to where I came up and finish mapping the ground level first so I don't get lost. And I think that's the courtyard where I left a ghost person alive because I wouldn't be able... Ow! Ow, 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 ow! Ah, brilliant. I'm pretty sure there was no way forward, but the perimeter under the balcony is safe, so I'm just going to double check. Actually, it looks like there might be. Dehydration just went up, but I clearly haven't been here because there's a mine. If the ghost person wandered out of the cloud, then I can dismember him. But I don't see him. This looks like a dead end. And unfortunately, this looks like a dead end too. I guess we'll have to try that makeshift bridge. Well, Let's walk the perimeter of this cul-de-sac. Make sure there aren't any exits. Oh, hey! Glad I took a second look. There's another one of Dean's secret stashes. 6 of 15. We're getting there. But this is a dead end. Sounds like a ghost person found one of Dean's traps. Ah! I knew I shouldn't have smoked all that crack before I started playing. Looks completely clear now. No guts, no glory. Yep, perfectly safe. Turn the light on. I turned the brightness up in the game settings this week because so many areas of this DLC are really dark. When I watch the videos on the laptop where I upload them, they look okay, but it's really dark when I'm playing. And when I'm editing. I know I've mentioned this before, but a few years ago a Steam update bricked New Vegas on my main laptop, and the only machine I have that still runs it is my old video editing PC. It doesn't have a network connection, doesn't even have a network card, specifically to keep my important projects safe from toxic updates. And there's a ghost person. Need to finish him off, but don't see an obvious way back up here. Well, gotta do it. And it was a crit, so he was really dead. I didn't need to jump down here. Great. Free mine. Well, since we have no choice at this point, I guess we keep turning left. Ammo. Nice. Is there a way forward up here? Don't know about that. Definitely looks like the cloud is covering that stairwell. Let's back the other way. Should really do something about my dehydration before I forget again. 6 purified water left. We're doing fine there. Many of my colleagues take issue with this, but the risk to my means of livelihood from legitimate but carelessly tested software updates is far greater than the risk from actual cybercriminals. I can't tell you how much time and productivity I've lost because they just don't give a shit if they break more than they fix when they push out an update. One of my most popular videos on the channel is a tutorial on how to block Steam updates with the built-in Windows firewall, and I'm thinking about starting a guerrilla campaign to pressure software vendors to decouple actual security patches from the rest of the so-called feature updates that are usually just spyware or bloatware anyway. And up there is where we'll find Caller 14.
That tourist crosses me, they'll regret it. Even if they don't, they still might.
And that's our first taste of Dean's sense of humor. Might as well loot the rest of the courtyard and then figure out how to get up there. I'm pretty sure that's the other end of the cloud-filled passage we saw at the very beginning, which would probably hurt a lot if we used it as a shortcut to get here, but should be safe to use once we have Dean's companion perk.
It was strange the way tourists keep rolling in. Hope that tourist is hurrying. Haven't got all day.
Okay, I'm coming. Might loot your house first, though. There's a skill book under Dean's bed that I'm not going to get because Courier Jeff has no way of knowing it's there. If you want to see how to get it, I'll put a link to the Skill Stash series in the description, but I'm not going out of my way to find them this time.
Have a seat. Came all this way. Least I can do is let you rest your feet for a second.
It's under there, and it requires careful placement of a large quantity of explosives. Anyway, let's have a seat.
The Sierra Madre. Beauty, isn't she? She the one who invited you here? Or maybe you didn't catch her voice on the radio. Woke up confused like some of the others. Least you're still breathing. By the way, Don't get up or make any sudden motions, no matter how uncomfortable that chair gets. The cushion's just for show.
Doesn't really need to be comfortable. I'm not one for sitting around when the clock's ticking.
Might be a bit rude, but that chair you're sitting in, it's got a shaped charge in the seat cushion. Get up without my permission. I'll blast your ass so far through your head, it'll turn the moon cherry pie red. So, let's keep this sweet and polite, and finish our conversation with no misunderstandings.
I'll save my questions for the end. Please, go on.
And that's what I've missed, a rapt audience. Just because I work in entertainment doesn't mean I'm a moron. I heard my necktie beeping. I know what that means. I'm part of this somehow. I want out of this contract. And if you put me in it, I'm not going to be too happy. So whatever's going on here, if you're part of all this, you're taking orders from me.
I'll cooperate. What do you want?
Good, good. Then we're in business. I may be a betting man, but I like it when the odds are in our favor. If you're here with who I think, then I'd rather have you on my side than his. An ace in the hole. You want to live, I want what's in the Madre. Real simple.
Now, Dean really knows how to hold a grudge, and if you're disrespectful at any point at all, you'll have to kill him before the end. Which I might do anyway, but Courier Jeff has no real reason to mistrust him yet, so I took all the polite options. And like I said earlier, I'm not going to send him back to the fountain on his own, so let's head out.
All right, partner.
And there's the perk message, Unclean Living, which grants you a short period of time before taking damage in the cloud.
Don't have to take the long way back. There's a shortcut across the way, you see? It's through the cloud, but if I'm with you, I can help you through it. If you didn't already force the lock to the gate, that is.
Unfortunately, he won't actually guide you. He follows you like any other companion, so you have to find your own way.
This crouching's hell on my knees.
Sorry, but I sneak everywhere, so we're going to be crouching a lot.
Really sad to leave the residential district. Well, not really.
Anyway, if this goes where I think it goes, then the Unclean Living perk should give us enough time to get through it without having...
I can help you in the cloud. Not for long, though.
Just long enough to get through it without taking damage. Yes, good. And dead ghost person. That probably means I've seen this area, unless it was killed by one of Dean's traps. And these stairs are indeed in the cloud, so is this room. Okay. I don't know where I am. But there's one of Dean's stashes, so potentially a lucky mistake. Why can't I jump on this couch?
Hey, those are my emergency supplies. I mean, I know we're in a bad spot. Sure left a lot of traps around. Sometimes I forget where they are.
That happens a lot, like in the dialogue between Dog and Christine last week. Right away. Finally. The NPCs have specific dialogue that's triggered by certain events or locations, but sometimes their random dialogue timer goes off and they interrupt themselves right in the middle of saying something else. Like, Dean was trying to tell us he doesn't mind if we loot his stashes, but that got cut off by another line about what I was saying earlier, that he can set off his own traps. Bottom line, taking stuff from his stashes doesn't count as disrespecting him or lock us into a bad ending. And there's the door. Let's pretend I found that because I know where I was going. Yeah, that's the ticket. Danger. Ghost people. Ow.
Used to open in Paris. Paris. Now they better make sure he's dead. Poke him with a stick or something.
He got one too.
Dead. Poke him with a stick or something.
Now, where's the one you killed? Hint, maybe? No, too late.
God damn it.
Ooh, lucky crit there. Those are just giblets. Any more? Doesn't look like it. All right. Back to the fountain.
Didn't think much of our chances. Now I'm thinking I was wrong. What's the next step?
Well, since he interrupted himself when he was talking about the stashes earlier, I found one of your stashes. Why did you leave them around the villa?
Why? Survival. I still needed to leave the residential area to scrounge up supplies, and I don't like taking chances. The villa's dangerous, so I left weapons and stims in case I got in a tight spot. And of course you show up putting your mitts on everything. I suppose this qualifies as an emergency, so I'm not complaining. Much.
Scrounge supplies? Like what?
I still need to eat. At least I think I do. The villa provides, even if it's not as glamorous as the Cantina Madrid. Once I, realized what you could scrounge up around here, I had a lot of time to experiment. Not the best chef, but, here's the mix, if you can stomach it. I call it a Sierra Madre Martini.
I don't think the Party Boy perk from Fallout 3 exists in New Vegas, so I'll probably never make one, but how do you make it?
Scrape some cloud residue off the walls, mash it in a tin can with some junk food from the machines, then hold your nose and down it. There's electric hot plates around if you can't find a campfire to mix it at. Also, there's other recipes you can do with the cloud residue, although it might take a hardier survivalist than me to brew them. I stick to martinis.
And now we know that recipe. Anyway, I had other questions.
It's your time, and if you want to spend it chatting, not much I can do about it.
Have other people shown up in search of the Sierra Madre?
Tourists, you bet. They don't stay long, and they don't stay alive long. If they survive the cloud, the ghost people, the traps, then greed takes over, and they start sizing each other up for funeral suits.
Won't hurt to stroke his ego a bit. Any advice to getting through this?
Well, considering my life's on the line too, yeah, a few things. First off, keep everyone together. Keep checking behind you. Make sure your partners are following. Don't let them wander. Also, don't go running crazy everywhere. Almost every inch of this town is lethal, so if you're not sure, take it real slow. And speaking of slow, don't go shouting or attracting attention. Go quiet. The ghost people find you, it's over.
You're speaking my language, even though I'm more worried about my bomb collar than the ghost people. What happened to the other people who came here?
Dead. Either got killed by one of the villa's attractions, locals, or the beautiful weather. Can tell you right now, they didn't stick close to each other, and when they did, they let down their guard at the wrong moment. Some left signposts to others trying to help them out. Just led to them getting killed by someone a little more greedy than they were.
So the visitors all killed each other?
Sure. First they figure they can get out, escape. Then they start thinking it over, start thinking about how they can have it all. They start weighing the odds, taking risks, and then taking each other out. Bomb collars are not. Although, it's odd. The bomb collars weren't linked before like they are now. Guess someone learned what the problem was.
Anyone else alive around here?
Alive's a tricky word. The locals, the ghost people? Not sure it applies to them. They're a little uncivilized. They don't talk much. As in, at all.
All right, I don't think we're getting anything else out of him about Elijah or our other partners, even though he knows a lot more than he's letting on, about Christine in particular. But now that we have all three collars assembled, our next objective is to talk to Elijah. So it's time for us to part ways.
You sure? I mean, look, you can't just tell me to walk now, you know. That's, well, not very friendly.
Yes, I'm sure.
I can't say it hasn't been fun. Well, I can, but I'll save it for my memoirs.
And we lose his companion perk, obviously. Despite him seeming a little miffed when we dismissed him, you can hire and fire whoever you want according to the needs of the moment without any effect on whether they get a good ending or not. And this hologram, we haven't paid much attention to it so far. The woman, not Elijah.
What's taking that human so long?
But it looks oddly familiar to Courier Jeff. Get out the binoculars. And it is indeed Vera Keyes, movie star, voice of the Sierra Madre, and very early in her career, cover girl for issue #1 of Lollipops magazine. The pre-war version, not the one I'm publishing now, obviously. Anyway, let's talk to Elijah.
Good. Well done. Now for the festivities and your part in all this. The owner of the Sierra Madre, for whatever reason, keyed the grand opening to the Gala Event itself. It needs to be fired off in order for the casino doors to open. As I've discovered, one person can't do it. So get your team into position indicated on your Pip-Boy, then trigger it properly. You're so close now, don't let me down. Otherwise, I'll have to rely on the next team.
Dog and Christine both say Elijah won't show himself until we trigger the Gala Event, and they know him better than I do, so we'll head out.
I'd suggest taking the FEV reject to his position first. Although you may need his brutality and strength elsewhere first. As easy as the villa was to navigate, the outlying areas of the villa are far more dangerous, thicker with the ghost people, traps, and toxins. Use your team as I use you. Listen to your caller. Watch where you step. You're no use to me dead.
We can actually do the next 3 missions in any order, but I see no reason not to do that one first. Now, we need to take each of our partners to a different place where they'll perform 3 coordinated tasks to trigger the Gala Event. But there's no reason we have to drag them through traps and hazards and waves of ghost people. For each location, I'm going to clear it first and then come back for whoever's assigned to it. Probably. Dog's assignment is in the previously inaccessible Salida del Sol, right here. There might be a point where I really need somebody's companion perk to get through an area, but I know that won't be the case with Dog. God. When Dog is in control, the perk is that he devours the limbs of any ghost people you kill, so you don't need to worry about dismembering them yourself. Speaking of ghost people, pretty useful, especially if the kill cam burns most of their respawn timer and leaves you facing the wrong direction. But there are few things I find more horrifying than being intelligent and sane, but having a violent, impulse-driven alter ego that can take over your mind. And this gate, which requires a key, I think in there is the Courier's position to trigger the Gala Event, after we get the other 3 where they need to be. Anyway, that's why I've been saying since episode 1 that I will never be calling Dog out of his cage under any circumstances. Missed. God's Companion perk is that you can't trigger traps or mines, and he adds 10 to your sneak skill, which is completely useless to me since I have the light step perk and my sneak is already 100, so there's no reason to bring him. I'll try the same tactic when it's time for Dean and Christine, but... where is this guy? There he is. I think we're both hitting the wall. Gas bomb. First time we've seen those, I think. Oh, there are 2 of them up there. Yeah, a trapper and a seeker. I don't think I ever mentioned this, but you can use guns to dismember these guys. Go Cam, come on. Thank you. It takes a few shots and I don't like wasting ammo, but in a real pinch it works. Anyway, if I run into collar interference or areas of the cloud that there's no other way around when I'm clearing the locations for Dean and Christine, I might have to go back and get them, but hopefully it's not necessary. As I think Elijah sort of implied, there may be some areas where it's convenient to have the wrong companion for a given area with you when you clear it. But the DLC's pretty good about giving you multiple ways to solve a problem based on your character's strengths and your preferred play style. Arguably not as good as the New Vegas base game itself in that regard, but New Vegas really set the benchmark for allowing alternative solutions, and there's a speaker around here somewhere. Let's take care of the ghost person first. Don't want to get caught between a rock and a hard place. Where is he? Top of the stairs. Now, where's the speaker? Ah, there's also cloud. If the speaker's in there, we won't be disabling it. Well, keep turning left. Cloud down there, too. But another one of Dean's secret stashes. Nice. Eight of 15. More than halfway there. I think this is one of the areas where you can turn on a ventilation system to clear some of the cloud. In fact, I think there might be one in all 3 areas where your partners will be stationed, but I'm not sure about that. Obviously, if I had Dean with me, I could just run down that passageway real quick to locate the speaker and shoot it, but the game probably wouldn't require us to take damage to get Dog to his position, so either that's not the right way, or we'll find another way to handle it. And I learned my lesson in the residential district. I'm not exploring the second story until I map as much as I can of the ground level. Although, preparing for the Gala event is where the game really starts throwing areas at you where key areas are only accessible through the second story or even across rooftops. And that's just a rad roach, but it's gotta go. Can't have spurious red ticks on my compass in this situation. Some kind of storage room. I'm not going upstairs, but we might as well loot the ground floor while we're here. And I'm over encumbered. What am I carrying that weighs that much? Let me do a little inventory management here. Alright, I merged a bunch of weapons and dumped anything I know I'll never use in the cabinet. Oh! Actually, that's fine. The automatic rifle I'm carrying still isn't in full condition, so I'll just repair it with this one. A little bit wasteful, but oh well. And I know I said I wasn't going to do this, but... No, we are not falling into the trap of the Sierra Madre. If for no other reason than I don't want Dog to be disappointed in me. God, you know who I mean. Another stairway. Dead ghost people. We've been through here. Oh, we're back at the entrance. I guess we have no choice but to try the second floor. Instamash, my new favorite. Doesn't look like this goes anywhere. No, it does. Out onto the awnings. Yeah, this can be tactically useful because you can run the whole length of a street and snipe ghost people from the high ground. And sometimes looking at things from a higher vantage point can give you a better idea of where you are than you get at ground level. Have I ever mentioned that I find the villa extremely frustrating to navigate because it's so maze-like and everything looks the same? Oh, yeah, every 15 minutes or so. But I think this is the first time in this episode. And this might open on one of those areas we couldn't get to because of the cloud. See what's down there. Unsprung bear traps. That's a good sign. No. I think this is the courtyard where we killed the rad roach. Yeah, that's the storage room. Not sure how I missed those traps before. Well, what's up here? At the very least, loot, probably. Hole in the wall? That's promising. Hello, rad roach. Almost bumped right into that. And there's more red on the compass. Probably not a rad roach. Another stairwell. Loot the upstairs first. Ah, dead end. Great. Well, let's try traversing the awning in the other direction. I think I've been up those stairs, but I can't have been in here. Hey, another one of Dean's secret stashes. Going to be a little more selective about what I take, partly out of respect for Dean, but mostly because I don't want to get over encumbered again. Nine of 15. Getting there. But this is otherwise a dead end. Looks like that door is open. Get out the binoculars. Yeah, it's open, so I've been in there already. Well, you know what? I've cleared enough ghost people and traps that it should be safe to get Dog, and then we'll get a quest marker for the location where we're supposed to take him. If I can find my way out. Take a drink of water? Nope. Other way. Yes, finally. Oh, you gotta be kidding me! Okay, so my last save was the autosave when I entered Salida del Sol, and fortunately it wasn't corrupted by the crash. I figured you didn't need to hear 30 minutes of me cursing, so I retraced my steps off camera, and then I decided to do a little recon so I could take Dog straight to the switching station without getting lost. And see that room? That's at the top of the stairs where I said I must have already been because the door was open. Well, I was wrong. I hadn't been there. The door is just open when you find it. And guess what? I jumped off the balcony and there's no way out. That cloud presumably leads back to where we've already been, so I started recording. But around here is the switching station. There's another dead-end passageway that leads to a shop with a vending machine back here. Looted that. That stairway goes nowhere. But all is not lost. Oh, yeah, there's another cloud-filled passageway back here. Not sure where that goes. Quick look at the switching station where we'll be bringing Dog. But I mentioned before that there's a way to clear the cloud out of certain areas of the villa. That's what this terminal does. Reset ventilation system. And now we should be able to reach all the areas we couldn't reach before, including getting the hell out of here. Collar's beeping. Great. Where is it? Is that a radio on the balcony? I think it is. Can't hit it from that angle. Around here, maybe? Good. Yeah, there's a terminal in the room where I jumped off the balcony that has an option to disable speakers, but I didn't do it because I wanted to be all cool and show you when I came back with Dog. Although I doubt it would turn off a radio anyway, which would imply that there are probably some actual speakers around here. Crackle, fizzle, boom. Yep. Nothing out here. And I'm dehydrated. So it's probably at the other end of that passageway, so we won't have as much time to find it and shoot it. Get out the hollow rifle. There it is. That was surprisingly generous. I expected it to be hidden somewhere. There's some cloud residue and a bear trap. I should really be picking this up. The addiction chance on Dean's Sierra Madre Martinis is so high I'll never make any of those, but there are other things you can craft with it that might be useful. Oh, another easy speaker. It's almost like the game is expecting you to come in from the other direction, so they'd be behind you. Salida del Sol house. I think this is either an alternate entrance or the main entrance, and you can get in that key-locked gate we saw earlier as an alternate for our part of the triggering the Gala event. That shop still has cloud. More traps I missed. Yeah, I think this is the game's big middle finger if you think you're clever and bring Dean so you can take a shortcut through the cloud. But then there are several speakers behind you and traps all along the way, and it'd be really hard to see any of it because the cloud severely affects your vision, even with Dean's companion perk. And now we're back to the switching station. So let's try the other cloud passage back here. Dean's stash. Okay, we saw that from the other side earlier, so I think we've cleared the whole level. Just want to... Yeah, I looted that shop already. So let's head back to the fountain. Apparently I didn't loot this condo. Yeah, dresser's still locked. Chips. And level up. Didn't know I was that close to level 36, so I didn't really have anything planned. Let me think about this. Bumping up my energy weapons wouldn't be bad, make the hollow rifle more effective, but I really only use it for blowing up speakers and radios. Put a point in melee weapons so it's an even number. Get unarmed up to 30. The bear trap fist's a better backup than the hollow rifle if I run out of ammo for my guns. Explosives up to 30 so I can disarm grenade bouquets. 5 more points in unarmed. Nah, I really can't justify that. I always intended to get into energy weapons someday, but there was always a higher priority, so 5 points there. And put the leftover in unarmed. That'll work. Now, perks. I've had my eye on strong back for a while. Not strong back. The one that lets you fast travel if you're over encumbered. Long Hall. That's the one. Well, let's see if anything new unlocked at level 36. Broad daylight, you're so sneaky you can sneak even with your Pip-Boy light on. Oh my! That would be really useful, especially in this DLC. Yeah, I'm doing it. Now, where was I? Rad Roach. Where did you come from? Right. Back to the fountain.
Someone wanted to cut your
What's
voice,
your story,
little
beautiful?
doll. Or they didn't finish their work, or didn't know how to.
Don't talk much, do you?
Oh, it might be able to rip the Pip-Boy off his arm without killing him.
All right, then. I'll just wallflower it over here.
Guys, she's a lesbian.
So, are we on our way to somewhere else? A gala event, perhaps?
What do you know about the gala event?
The gala event is the way to bring the old man out. He won't show himself until the casino doors are open. So triggering the event is key. And the key. The question becomes, can we trust each other to do this? We'll see. If we go there, you'll have to give me control. If you bring Dog out, then I'll make sure you pay in blood.
How many times do I have to tell you I'm not going to do that? Jeez. Do you know anything else about it?
Dog might know more. You should ask him. Beware the answer, because I think Dog got hungry. He couldn't help himself. I tried. I always try, and he keeps giving in.
Any idea why you're assigned to this particular point on the map?
Maybe it's familiar, comfortable. Practice makes perfect. And as much as it bruises my ego, some things require brute strength. In the right combination. Besides, none of your assembled band of thieves look able to rip a 200-year rusted power switch down like a machete to fire up an entire town.
I think we should travel together.
I'll follow you, for now.
And there's his companion perk, which isn't just useless for Courier Jeff, it's actually worse than useless because he's actually not that stealthy. And if your companions get spotted, it automatically takes you out of hidden status, so you can't get sneak attacks, which is another reason why I wanted to clear out the ghost people before I take any of these guys to their positions. That's not the right way. This is the right way. And here we are.
So here we are. A row of switches all lined up. How familiar. These switches won't move themselves, after all. There must be some trick to it. Now that I'm here, what do you expect me to do?
Do you know how to operate the switches?
I do. The diagram there tells me what I need to know.
And there's no need to threaten him at this point. If you know how to operate the switches, I need you to trust me to get through this.
You're right, but trust? Trust is such a harsh word. I prefer mutual need. It's more honest. No, I can help you. These wiring diagrams. I know how to operate the switches in sequence to make fire appear in the sky. We just need to make sure that Dog doesn't surface before that happens. To do that, he'll need to be fed. That makes him stay in the cage.
What kind of food should I bring back?
Dog has torn apart a number of the inhabitants of this town. Well, he doesn't prefer them to other flesh. It'll do for the time being. Find some of the inhabitants. It'll require some hunting on your part. Kill them. Take some of the remains inside them. Bring it back here. They're not easy to kill. But I have faith in you, and the beast must be fed if you want him to stay in this cage.
All right, I'll go hunting, see what I can find.
2 chunks of meat from their bodies should be enough. Hunt quietly, so as not to draw more here.
So we've lost the perk, which doesn't matter, and he's no longer our companion, which will actually make it easier to hunt. Which isn't that hard, because you get a quest marker for the ghost people the game spawns in if you choose this option. Unfortunately, you can't just go cut a chunk off one of the ghost people you already killed to get here, but oh well. And here's one already. He spotted me pretty fast for supposedly being able to sneak with my Pip-Boy light on. Now I think I'm getting screwed by the kill cam again. Yes, he's already getting back up. Seriously? I've never seen one resurrect twice. Maybe he's special because he's a quest objective. Okay, finally. Take the remains and find the next one. Oh, he spotted me right away too. I think I got ripped off on that broad daylight perk. Haha. At least he can't get back up 3 times after a headshot. And I think we're right around the corner, yep.
You better have brought enough meat. I can feel dog's teeth tearing at my ribs, hungry to get out.
Here's your order, sir.
You're good at fetching. This should keep him where he belongs. For now. I'll wait. Send the signal. We'll be ready.
That completes the quest to get him in position, so back to the fountain.
Hey, those scars. What happened? Somebody, something carve you up, or... Damn shame. Hate to think if someone put you in there. Who bailed you out again? The new guy? Interesting.
Dude. I don't know. Maybe because he's pre-war or something. Now, if that seems a little more sinister than just a clueless guy hitting on a lesbian, hold that thought. I've been playing a long time, but some of that was because of the crashes, and I have no idea how long this episode's going to be, so I'm going to call it a day, and we can get these two to their positions next week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.